one of the sub goals that we just hit. This one right here, which is to watch one of my first videos that is now unlisted on YouTube. Little bit of backstory here. This video I made in the spring of 2018. So 3.5 years ago, I tried to make my first Trackmania documentary video. I did not post it publicly. It has always been unlisted because I didn't think it was good. But you can sort of see from this video where my roots started, how I got like the vision for making a video like this. And sort of, you know, you can really see like the bare bones of the videos I make today on the main channel. So let's have a look at it. A12 world record progression beta. I made this in July of 2018. But I was basically working on this from like May 2018. Learning how to record voiceovers, stuff like that. Learning how to make cool cameras, whatnot. And I never ended up finishing this video because I didn't get quite happy with how it turned out. I did make it 2.5 years later in December of 2020. I finished it. But this was essentially like my first attempt at it. Well, let's take a look. You know what? I need a... Just gotta stretch, prepare to cringe on my own voice and everything I did. Alright, I'm ready. I'm ready. Enjoy.
Trackmania Nations Forever is a racing game released for free on PC and has been out now for over 10 years. In these 10 years, it has become an iconic title for its simplicity.
Tough start.
The main objective in the game is to collect medals by beating time targets set by the developer, but most of these get lost.
So, just before we get like fully into this, the reason my voice sounds so much different here is because I had a very skewed nose before. My nose was like sideways almost. And so you can imagine I could not get any air out of one of my nostrils. So it was essentially like I was talking like this all the time. And my voice sounded like this 2 years ago. And it sounded very different. And then I had a surgery to fix up the problem so I can breathe through my nostrils. And that also greatly improved my voice. But in the past, it used to sound like this.
The very first record on the scoreboard back then that we can verify was 1883 by Marius89. For its time, this is a very solid record, but we don't have any replay of it. We do have another 1883 set by Tommy137 to show what this run might have looked like.
So I think you guys can see like the traces, right? But it's just so, it's a world's difference.
And Marius89 would later go on to
1882
in May 2008 to a 18.82.
Whoa.
And by the 1st of August 2008, Ichigo had achieved a
1881.
Ichigo's record was close enough to the limit at the time that people had to start thinking out of the box if they wanted to beat it.
And the thing is like when you're sitting recording this, like you can tell that it's not just like the quality of my voice, but I'm also just more confident when I storytell my videos now. Like this sounds like a kid that sits in his room and is scared his parents will hear him talking about A12.
Ichigo's record was close enough.
I'm sitting very close to the mic and whispering because I don't want my parents to call me a nerd.
For new time savers and shortcuts. And the earliest mentions of a potential shortcut was from J.
This is a school presentation, yeah.
On 8, where you would take the first CP and then skip 2 long turns.
Also, like here, I'm just like, yeah, you would take the first CP as if people know what a CP is.
Head straight for the finish with an overwall.
And an overwall. Like I just take it for granted. Like, yeah, you're a biggest nerd as me and know these terms.
And the day after
what age was I? I was 19 when I made this. Or, well, turning 19. 18 and a half. Virtual goes in depth on how to press the forward button, yeah.
At the time. This created a lot of hype on the track, and now everyone...
Were you trying to make this for a wide audience? Yeah, wider audience. So I was really inspired by Summoning Salt videos. I watched a lot of Summoning Salt around here, and I thought, wow, Trackmania leaderboards have been around since 2008. We have so much material. There's so many cool tricks. What if you make one of these for every single map? That was like the original concept. And I thought, yo, A12 was really sick. And I also started working on this at a time when my friend, Trinity, had just gotten the world record. So it was perfect time to start with this map.
And one of the players who would join in on the hype was Karyan, who on the same day, May 18th, set a new normal wave world record of 18.80.
I think one of the best things I've done, one of the best changes I've made from this video to the ones I make now is actually the flags. Because like if you just hear Korean, it doesn't really tell you anything about who the person is, like the personality. So just adding like a flag, like they're Swedish, it gives you some sort of like relation to the player. Could be a profile picture too.
18.80.
But like profile pictures or flags are huge.
From when Karin's record was done. Bartui says he thinks Karin's end was
because the amount of comments I get where it's like, yo, wait, half this is from my country? Oh, that's so awesome. Stuff like that.
But we would have to wait over 3 months until Alex showed up and got 18.79 on the 25th of August 2009.
Another big thing that happened is we found out how to download old replays. Here we were just going off of 2009 YouTube videos. So now we have like clean HD replays from 2006 and stuff. But here we only had YouTube comparisons.
Another 0.04 of a second from Marius89's original world record with no new strategies being used. Truly an amazing achievement. We would not see much activity on A12 for another year and a half. That is until a cold February morning in 2011.
A cold February morning. Ah yes, it was a cold February morning in 2011. Ah yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. Jesus Christ, man. Get the hot chocolate.
Through 2011, we'd see more and more people getting the 1878, and at one point there being a 6-way 1878.
This is something that I didn't...
This wasn't done.
In the new one, I didn't go through all this normal history because there was just like, it's so nitty gritty. Like, you don't really need this info.
Yeah, and just around the new year, Koss suggested he should try speed sliding the finish.
Like, I covered a trick, speed sliding, I covered flow trick.
2012.
Not really too relevant in the story. This probably took me 2 months.
Wrote a comment saying,
I had to learn so many things. Like, just this. You see the text disappearing here? And this one going up?
By Diablo.
I had to look up so many tutorials for things like this. I had no real experience with like actually editing. I had to figure out how to record voice lines, trim out the bad parts. I had to figure out a lot of stuff. So yeah, it took me ages. And like I never published this video. It was always unlisted because I thought it wasn't good enough. Like looking back at it, I was like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
To go up against 18.6.
But I wish I'd started with this. I really wish now I'd started back then. There's this Chinese proverb, which is that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And like, if you never start, if you never go through this awkward phase of learning everything and, you know, making something that isn't quite up to quality, you will never reach the point where you actually make like really high quality things. So I'm really glad I started back then, but I wish I had the balls to just upload this and keep making more videos. I think you can never start and do something perfect.
Several drivers sliding into walls and getting.
But you can definitely start and improve.
Effort.
And that's the video. That is the video. It ends here. Hope you enjoyed it. That was my first ever video, 2018. I mean, while we're at it, I can also show you. Did I still have this? Yeah. So this was like another super early documentary I tried to make. Heavily summoning salt inspired as well. The smallest shortcut in TMNF. New editing skills. Virtual presents render check 5. Yeah, I know. Part 1.
How did we even end up at the point where these two completely different routes are almost identically fast? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world record progression on D12 speed.
I've definitely improved. This was 1.5 years later. This is like miles better. It's still probably quite not like the current quality, but it's good.
In the early days, the D12 record traded hands many times, gradually being lowered down into the mid-39s. It would take almost a year though for the track to become really competitive, when a player by the name of Anarchy started driving it. Anarchy was an up-and-coming player, looking to prove himself.
The pacing is very slow,
yeah. First world record on one of the campaign tracks, and he saw his chance on D12 speed.
Like usually when I introduce a video now, I'll try to introduce it in like a minute, probably tops. We're like 3 minutes in and we still haven't sort of gotten into it, you know? Like the pitch has to be shorter and then you have to get into it.
There are a couple of key points to notice in Anarchy's run. The first thing is that at the very start, he leaves the ramp diagonally onto the first booster.
Why?
It seems more logical to
why don't you just go straight down the ramp?
To get more speed.
But here he's doing what's known as a booster start trick. On any track where there's a start block followed by a booster, it's faster to leave the start ramp diagonally than to simply drive straight. This is because of the way traction works in Trackmania. A general rule is that the more traction your car has, the more speed
Traction
you'll gain.
equals speed.
And by leaving the start ramp diagonally, the car's weight is pushing more down on the booster, resulting in...
I'm gonna say I have no clue what I'm talking about here. It's just like I thought this was a logical explanation, and I was just like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll admit, I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Just before he reaches the platform, he stops steering for a moment, straightens out his car, and then continues steering.
This was some high-level shit. I think this video here suffers from over-explaining everything so hard. That's what this suffers from. Like, we're 8 minutes in, we've watched one run. I was just so focused on like, yeah, I gotta explain absolutely everything to the smallest detail, and it's just bad. This is more of a tutorial on how to play the track, yeah. I love this part of the video.
Come to the decisive sector, the decisive part, the part into the loop. Who's gonna survive? The gamer with an atrocious landing gets passed by multiple players, but also...
What? What? Wow. The fuck was that, dude?
So he knows what's up, but a very weak beginning here for the New Zealand player. That is a very, very trash.
The problem is that when you build up a lot of speed
half as with the landing bug,
you are almost too fast for the death loop. At Anarchy speed, this little road transition becomes a big jump, and it makes you land halfway up the loop. But as if the first part wasn't bad enough already, the rest of the death loop is also unconnected. When a loop is unconnected, it means there are gaps between each loop part, making the car...
When the loop is unconnected, it means it's unconnected.
Jump from block to block. Unconnected loops are very deadly, as they are prone to what's known as landing bugs. The landing bug is an unintended bug in the game that can frustratingly make you lose all of your speed when landing. The margin for error in the death loop is so small that players would have...
I remember this because here I was literally just sitting farming landing bugs. Like, I would start like a couple blocks back with some boosters and just try to farm landing bugs for the video. Great video. Absolutely stunning. I don't know.
Aren't many
I'm glad to know there's a difference between like 2.5 years ago and now. But I feel like all YouTubers have this. Like, if you ever want to be inspired to make videos or whatever, go to a YouTube channel that you enjoy and check their oldest video. Legit check their oldest video. Give me a channel that you watch now that you really look up to. Tom Scott. We can watch Tom Scott's first. Yeah, let's say like Tom Scott, right? You go to videos. You go to, there's this beautiful button. Sort by oldest. He made videos 15 years ago? Dear Lord. This is the same guy that makes insane documentaries now. He irons his breakfast. Insane. Check Let Me Know. He makes really good documentaries now. Oldest? No shot. Top 10 Rage comics. Holy shit. What a blast from the past. If you guys are Zoomers, you might not even know these memes. These were like the earliest of early day memes. These are so bad. I'm tabbing out. I'm tabbing out. No. We're done watching the Rage comics.